I actually had a conversation about a week before the announcement came with Zach. Me and Zach talked about this, and we talked about the different scenarios that were possibly going to come up in the that next week of those before the Iowa and New Hampshire. He was saying, hey, if this happens, this is probably going to happen. If this happens, then this is going to happen. So we were looking for certain numbers in New Hampshire. If New Hampshire, gave us what we thought we were going to get, then they were going to continue on. But because we didn't reach those certain milestones, it was kind of, it was like, all right, well, the math, we have this math guy, so he just knew the numbers. It was like, all right, well, we have no pathway to victory. But the thing is, I mean, they all called me, and we said our goodbyes. We all talked about it, and they respected us enough to at least come talk to us before this thing happened. So I mean, I was sad, I cried, I did it, did all my stuff, everything, but I was prepared when the day came.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So it sounds like there was a decision tree that was built prior, and it's like, well, if we get our butt kicked in Iowa, but we have an okay showing in New Hampshire, we'll do this. If we get our butt kicked, if we win in both places, obviously we'll proceed. And we probably didn't hit the thresholds we set internally for both Iowa and New Hampshire, and then the calculus was better to suspend and fight another day.
Correct. Yeah.
What do you think would have happened in South Carolina?
Man, listen, and a lot of people in South Carolina were saying that they wish that he would have at least just held out until South Carolina, because they know the work we did in South Carolina. I mean, we were on the grounds everywhere. There wasn't one part of South Carolina that went untouched by us. Like we were everywhere. We're talking to everybody, doing speeches everywhere. I mean, it was an exciting thing. I think we definitely would have had a good chance to top five in South Carolina had he stayed in. I mean, we were that good. So I was excited. I was ready to rock and roll. And I mean, it was just sad that that was probably the saddest part was, man, we really couldn't see our efforts come to fruition at that point.
I don't want to dwell on the past, but I have to say
and one more thing. So right before he suspended his campaign, we were about to roll out and I'm not going to say his name, but we were about to roll out our first
big endorsement.
Yes, a huge endorsement in the state of South Carolina, a huge legislator endorsement, a huge one. And we were we were about to roll that out, and we also had another legislative endorsement who was mulling a decision to switch from one of the top candidates to come to us. And we were going to roll them out both at the same exact time. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I was like, I was running around screaming like, yes, if we get these two legislators to come out and publicly do this on CNN and all, like we were rolling out two huge endorsements, man. And I mean, it fell through. So they called me like the day right before Yang was about to suspend, they called me and said, "Hey, so we're gonna roll it. Are we gonna roll them out, or what are we gonna do?" The legislators called me, and I said, "Man, let's just hold off because we don't know what's gonna happen after New Hampshire. So just wait on rolling this stuff out." But they were ready to go. We were gonna fly them out to California to do speak. I mean, it was all type. I'm sorry to break the bunch of bubble, but
let's unsuspend. Let's unsuspend.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, we were popular, man. We were popular. We were really popular, man.
Because it's funny hearing that, because if you look here, let me just share my screen for a second. If you look here, it's not like it's not like Buttigieg and Warren and Klobuchar kicked ass in South Carolina. Like, I feel like there was room for a Yang, at least top 5 surprise, maybe.
That's what I said. I said we were going to be top 5. We were going to be top 5. Yeah, we were going to be top 5.
So, yeah. That's,
I'm sorry, but we were going to be top 5. Our pathway was there. And people loved us. I mean, people literally loved us here in South Carolina. The UBI was doing really, really well here in South Carolina, better than all the other states. Like, it was doing really, really well here because of the people here knew how much they needed the UBI here. And it's definitely showing right now with this coronavirus outbreak that's happening. people are really saying they really could have utilized a universal basic income. So, I mean, hey, 2024 is coming around, baby. So
I kind of feel, I lived in Seattle for 15 years before moving as an expat to Zurich. But when I was in Seattle, we had a pretty big Super Bowl, Super Bowl 49.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like we probably should have given the ball to Marshawn. and I wonder, maybe we should have given the ball to Jermaine Johnson. Maybe we should have gone beast mode in South Carolina, baby.
Yeah, listen, I love my guys, man. I love them all, man. But I really think I think we could have done a lot better than South Carolina than we did anywhere else. Especially since the UBI was playing so well here in South Carolina, I think we could have really, played to that strength right there. I definitely think that because I was able to, get so much attention on Yang in South Carolina. I mean, it just showed the potential that we had in this campaign. So, like I said, I mean, hey, you could have given me the ball. I like to be synonymous with Kobe Bryant, but give me the ball in the fourth quarter, baby. We're going for the win.
Big time players make big time plays, baby.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not like Bernie cleaned up the African American vote. Like,
he didn't.
I think there was some South Carolina vote to be competed for. And obviously Biden did extremely well, but I wonder, maybe some of the Biden voters felt like, well, they didn't have a choice, an alternative that they were excited about.
And that's exactly right, because a lot of the Biden people were Yang people.
Yeah.
So and they loved Yang. I mean, like I said, a lot of big endorsers, were like, man, we love Yang. Like, people they really love Yang down here, So. I mean,
and the interesting thing now is, you fast forward, if the campaign were still running, given the virus thing and the potential recession and all this kind of economic calamity that we might have because of this virus thing.
Yes.
You hear some politicians talking about, like, oh, let's design a new government program that provides these specific benefits and has free testing and which is great. But, it also highlights the power of just direct cash injection into the hands of the people, because what someone needs in South Carolina may not be the same as what someone needs in Ohio or in Nevada or, in California. And now people are talking about, more direct aid and stimulus and stuff like that. You wonder if if the old Andrew star would have shined brighter now, even in this very difficult time.
Yeah, it would have been point taken. It would have been like, all right, well, this is exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
All right, it makes perfect sense now. Like, it's hard to get people to really see some things. I mean, and even with human nature, it's hard to get people to really be empathetic and sympathetic until it comes and knocks at their door. When it finally comes and hits them, then it's like, oh, now I see what you're talking about. Now I understand. So the fact that this stuff is happening right now, where people are being sent home from work who are hourly workers, they're trying to figure out, well, how am I going to eat? How am I going to survive? How am I going to pay my bills? We have things that are going on. Like our governor just the other day, he asked that all the utilities companies, they no longer will cut off your utilities, and things like that. So it's like, and then a couple of our legislators are also proposing that, people don't get evicted for the next 60 days. So it's just showing exactly what that UBI could have done, and it could have helped people, to get through a pandemic like this. I mean, people didn't really take him seriously until this pandemic hit, and now there's like, okay, well, now let's start doing something about that. But let it be known that Andrew Yang talked about it first.
Oh, for sure. I almost wonder if the focus on automation as the sort of lead in to UBI may have kind of pigeonholed UBI as, oh, well, that's just a technology solution. It's just a solution to a technology problem, versus what it really is, and I think, in my opinion, which is a broader kind of general foundational solution to lots of problems that we can see and some that we can't predict. Like, I guess, well, let me kind of get out of the past for a moment. I mean, you and I could talk about Super Bowl 49 and Yang 2020 for like hours. But my sense is you're not like getting on the lazy boy and just kind of like hanging up your hat and saying I'm good for now. What are you doing, man? What are you up to?